Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Colin and Cameron Cairnes about Late Night with the Devil in theaters March 22nd. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure having us, Peter.
I mean, thank you for your time. Thank you for the nightmares. I just want to know right off the bat, I just want to know, like, it is an exciting time for the horror movie genre right now. So I just wanted to kind of know what it's like being part of kind of what's it like being part of the kind of fold where it's a really popular time right now for this genre.
Yeah. It's great because, we've been, Late Night with the Devil is our third film, obviously. So we've been at this caper for, 10, 15 years, basically. Mm-hmm. And especially in Australia, where we're so far removed from here, there are times when, it feels like things aren't necessarily in great shape.
Yeah.
So it is exciting that, having stuck with it and stuck with the genre that, things seem to be coming good. And, like Aussie genre, in particular, Aussie horror seems to be having a real moment in the sun as well. So it's, for us personally, really exciting to be a part of that, because I think we do it really well in Australia.
Australian, I was about to say, this is going to theaters and eventually go on Shudder, this film, but there's also You'll Never Find Me, another Australian film that's going to be on Shudder as well, which is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, another great little contained thriller. Talk to Me, obviously, last year.
So good.
We punch above our weight, I think, in Australia, and it's nice to be finally, I think, for our industry to be getting some credit for it.
Writing and directing, I feel like, does it happen naturally for both of you? Is there one that you kind of like more than the other, and then the other one kind of just happens? Like, I'm just curious about that.
It's a good question. I hadn't really thought about it, but I think we love them in equal measure. Mm-hmm. I think maybe personally the writing I get a slightly bigger kick out of. I think just creating the idea and the world and being in that space and whether it's the world of 100 Bloody Acres or Late Night with the Devil. I mean, we really put our hearts into it, and we do the research and we love the research, but we also just, when we're writing, we kind of take on those characters and their beliefs and their
flaws.
Which,
Well, it's interesting because we started this interview talking about the fact that it's very exciting. It's an exciting time for the horror movie genre, and it's great, but it can be seen a little bit as a double-edged sword because there's so much content out there right now. So with this film, it was just an incredible, unique concept. So early on when you were talking about this as your third film, was that something kind of in mind with your third installment? It had to be something new, unique, different that people have never seen before. I've never seen anything like this before.
Absolutely.
So congratulations.
You'll have to, if you're hearing chainsaws in the background.
I'm not hearing anything. It's fine.
That's just people celebrating horror movies in general. We've rented them for the day. They're just going to keep. But seriously, it's right outside our window. They're going nuts. Hopefully, it's just the trees that they're cutting at the moment. But no, you're right. With all our stuff, it's like, in a way, nothing is new. I mean, but you've got to make it fresh. It's like, what's a new take on, a real-time horror or, so, and I think with Late Night, setting it on a late night talk show, we knew we had something that was unusual and different. And it was a matter of, like we're sort of saying with the scripting, then just coming up with a storyline and characters that do that idea justice.
100%.
That's just the hard work that's just the graft of, working away at the script for some years.
Yep.
But no, we always feel like you've got to, and in Australia especially, it's like 4 or 5 years between films. So you want to make sure that you're doing something that you're going to be proud of and that takes that has some ambition to it and tries, new to stand out from the crowd. So no, absolutely. We try. Whether we succeed is another matter, but all you can do is try.
And I don't want to go into kind of big spoilers. I'd like to hear from both of you on this specifically. But I mean, there's a part in this, like, there are moments of this, like most of this movie is like you're watching the late night show like it's happening, you know what I mean, and everything. But there's some kind of behind the scenes calls and everything. But I love the fact that most of this film is just kind of like you're an audience member, like watching what is happening. How important was that from a writing perspective? Did a lot of that change maybe? Was it mainly just the whole, like, was it the whole basically like production, like the whole like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, was it just showing the episode and maybe there wasn't a lot of the behind the scenes? Like, I'm just curious about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Look, I think everything you see in the film had been scripted. There was nothing that kind of we reshaped after we shot. You know, the audience, look, when we were writing the film, I don't think we really realized how big a part they were going to play ultimately, and or having that effect of feeling like you're in the audience. It was only until really we got into post-production we were going, wow, okay, you're really sort of, you know, you're hearing that voice up the back, and is it somebody actually in the audience, you know, in a session, or is it part of the sound design? So, you know, once we sort of realized we had that trick up our sleeve, we you know, we made sure we made the best of it.
Yeah. Are you sort of also asking about like through the development process?
Whether the development process, because like I love the back and forth, but I loved how you're just like you're watching it like you're there. That was like my favorite thing about the movie.
But no, look, there was probably a point where we thought, you know, with the backstage stuff, like if we're gonna commit to a real time telling of the story, the idea of then cutting to commercials or color bars for 2 or 3 minutes, you know, or just jumping ahead to the next segment would be jarring, we thought. So we thought if you're invested in the characters, you will want to know what is happening backstage. So why deny people that? So it's then coming up with something within the story that explains that.
That interests me for sure, because they don't happen often. We don't go backstage a lot. You know what I mean? So I was just curious about that.
We've just felt that was the best way to tell the story. And that people would hopefully care enough about these characters, about Jack, to want to know. It's a matter of finding a reason story-wise to go back there. And that probably changed a lot. Sorry, that probably changed a lot through development, where we were thinking, you know, during the ad breaks, do the cameras, the studio cameras just keep rolling and pick up stuff incidentally, which we just thought that, you know, there have been a few TV shows, I think, that have tried that, and it just felt like that would
even more contrived.
Feel very contrived.
Absolutely. I did want to ask, I mean, you know, I'm walking on eggshells a little bit with this, because there's a great trailer for this movie out there right now, but honestly, I want people just to like put this movie on and watch it, because that's like the best way, in my opinion. David just did an amazing job. Before we wrap up, what was it like working with David, and it was just an unbelievable, like, strapped in like a roller coaster watching this character's journey. Like, it was crazy.
We were just so lucky that he said yes, right? You know, I mean, we've got a great cast. They're all fantastic. But, you know, if Jack doesn't work, the movie doesn't work. So we needed someone of his caliber, with his charm, but with his range and acting chops.
You know, also his voice, it occurs to me now, his voice almost feels like a vintage mid-century voice or something, you know? And he got all those cadences of the talk show. So down,
And that, you know, it's also he responded to the writing, which was great, because I think we did a lot of work to try to make it. We were at pains not to have anything set. Like, you see a lot of period stuff now, but they'll happily, you know, use a lot of current slang, all that sort of stuff, which, you know, I get if you want to appeal to a young audience, maybe there's some pressure to do that. But we just said, no, we've got to be authentic, be true to the time. He dug that. He embraced it. He went all the way deep into the 70s sort of, you know, vibe.
Yeah,
it was a pleasure to work with him. Just his range, his ability. You know, David's not the sort of actor that, you know, you need to have long discussions with after each take. It's like, you want to go again? Let's go again, see what happens. You know, we'll have fun, we'll play, see what happens.
Absolutely. This movie is so incredible. It's inspiring, because I'm a creative as well, and I just got back from LA and wrapped my short horror film that I wrote and produced as well. So, you know, this is one of those movies that just like, it's just so inspiring. It's going to stick with me forever. So thank you both so much. March 22nd in theaters. It's Late Night with the Devil. Thank you both for your time. It was so great chatting with you both.
Great to talk with you. Thanks, Peter.
Good on you, mate.
Awesome.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.